So I'm Dr. Martin Willis Monroe. I'm the managing editor of the Database of Religious History here at the University of British Columbia. The idea behind the DRH, the Database of Religious History, came out of this kind of problem that we have in large-scale academic work, where we're looking to ask really big questions about history topics around the world, but we don't have a platform or a way to do that. And so the Database of Religious History was designed to be a project to enable these kind of really big questions about human history and human religious history, and allow researchers from all over the world to kind of log on, contribute data, and also to kind of query the database and ask these really interesting questions that we all kind of enjoy hearing about. So our main collaborators are people at London School of Economics and Harvard University, and then we have experts and editors from universities all across the world on all the major continents. And then our typical users have been primarily academics. However, we're really looking to make this academic project be more widely accessible to members of the public, to interested people in education on all different levels. And that's one of the big challenges is creating an academic project that has a wide user base. So initially the project was kind of done by the seat of our pants here at the university, using student labor, using postdoctoral people who had expertise in technology, and we quickly found that that was not sufficient for our needs. And so we were looking for a team that could really help us not only kind of facilitate making our code better and making our project better, but also really help us vision ways to improve the project over the long term. Yeah, so when Pioneers came in, we were running this kind of cobbled together system that worked functionally, but definitely had its rough edges. And Pioneers was able to really help us by going through the whole entire code base, cleaning it up, making it much more efficient, making it more bug-free, bringing in a whole testing infrastructure, which really helped us find more things in the long term. And crucially, I think they were able to contribute a sense of design that we lacked beforehand. So, for instance, one particular feature I can think of is our search interface. As academics, we kind of, when asked how we would search, we say, well, I just want all the options available. I just want to click everything and I know exactly what I'm looking for. But Pioneers was able to push back and say, well, you have to tell us kind of the story of how someone's going to get into your data. Think about it from a sort of a user-centric perspective. And that really helped us reconceptualize how not only academics would search and kind of analyze within our data, but also how members of the public and people from different educational backgrounds would actually use the product, the system. So prior to working with Pioneers, there wasn't really a concept of like design and then implementation. It was mostly just creating the feature and then running it and seeing what happens. So it's been very useful to have Pioneers give us mock-ups of features, go through a whole process of Q&A with them, talk weekly about what we're looking for long-term, what we're looking for short-term, and being able to evaluate each step of the process. And from there, we're able to actually see things go through a sort of almost like a beta stage for us on a staging server, and we can try it out, we can send it to our internal users, and they can try it out and give us feedback. And that's resulted in sort of much more robust and functional aspects of the project than we had before. So one of the challenges we've experienced as a project is basically how do we ramp ourselves up from a project that focuses on academic context, the academic sphere, into a project that's really creating a research environment and an educational environment for a wider group of for a wider audience. And Pioneers has been able to really help us think about the way search engine optimization, the way that we can kind of track our users through our system so that we can understand their use of the interface. These are things that we don't ever cross our minds when we're designing academic interfaces. And so the ability to kind of push beyond our initial narrow vision of who we're sort of attracting to the project and have Pioneers help us in that process has been very, very useful. And it's also really good for the scholarship we do. I mean, we don't want to keep the work that we're doing kind of siloed up in the university sphere, right? We want to make this something that is really accessible to most people. So the DRH has been growing pretty rapidly. We've been getting more and more editors and more experts into the system from a wide variety of institutions around the world. We're also growing the number of entries we have by a pretty rapid rate. And we're starting to be listed on kind of university library resource pages. Our traffic, thanks to Pioneers helping us track it, has been going up pretty significantly. We're still kind of waiting on some larger feedback from the scholarly community, but that's part of the process of anything. So the DRH, we're hoping in the future is really a one-stop shop for the history of religion around the world. We're hoping to really become a major reference work for that, but also a major platform for conducting interesting new research in that sphere. So our next major expansion that we're thinking about for the project is to really, Pioneers has helped us build this really stable and great sort of foundational infrastructure, but what we're looking to do in the future is to really go back to our experts, find out how they best use the interface, and then polish up some of the things that we've been working on. But also one of the big expansions we're thinking about is getting into the sphere of linked open data and sharing out basically a lot of the content that we already have so that it becomes reusable by other projects around the academic community. So Pioneers has been very helpful for us in developing a really stable platform and helping us envision how the project will grow. And we find that working with them has been very fruitful. We highly recommend them for any sort of academic computing, university computing, digital humanities types of projects.